What is pre-market and what is off-market? Lisa Novak on the show today has spoken with the likes of the Real Estate Institute president, consulted to a lot of people across the industry, always referred to by John McGrath, Adrian Bowe, Amy McAllister, Tom Panos, about her social media pre-market selling. Let's talk about it right now. Stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 411, with myself, Michael Burgess, Mark Novak, special guest Lisa Novak. This morning, we're going to be talking about basically the correct terminology. Quite often, you sort of, as someone who's not in the industry, especially a vendor or a prospective buyer, they hear the words off-market being used, and typically you would think when something you hear, no, it's off-market, that it's not for sale. So it's quite mind-blowing that we constantly throw around these terms. So we're going to set the record straight here today with the terminology, and we couldn't have thought of someone better to bring on than Lisa Novak. So probably Mark and I won't say another word from here, and good luck.
I feel very honoured, guys.
You can just take over the show and just talk the whole time.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Guys, you know, it's been a very interesting time in real estate, hasn't it? There's been tons and tons of confusion. There's three terms that I want to clear up this morning right across the whole real estate industry, and that is off-market and on-market. All right, I'm going to cover the pre-market in a second, and I'll tell you guys why. So off-market, if we go back to the good old-fashioned days of real estating, it's been around for a really, really long time, right? So predominantly, the definition of what off-market is a property that was either never going to come to market, or it was a property that was never publicly advertised and was then sold. And that includes the likes of social media, and that includes the likes of even your database. So it means there was one property and there was one buyer, and you played the matchmaking game and someone purchased that property, but there was no formal public advertising. All right? Does that sound really clear, guys, to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay, excellent. Then we've got your on-market properties. Now, your on-market properties are properties that have been out or currently on those paid real estate portals, the likes of realestate.com and Domain. All right, it's gone out to your database. You've had your beautiful professional videos and photos done, and out it goes, and it's officially on the market. And that can either be sold via private treaty or via auction. All right, so they're on the market. The whole world has seen them right across those real estate portals. Now, where I think the confusion lies is that when I came into real estate sales 3 years ago, and I'd of course had a background in real estate, but it always confused me that there was no in between. It was either, well, you're off market, no formal public advertising, or you're on market and you're right across those paid real estate portals. So, you know, they're the two good old-fashioned ways of real estating. That in-between gap was the part that really confused me. And Mark, I remember coming into sales and saying to you, what about the people that can't afford marketing? What about the people that just want to dip their toes in and test the market? You know, there's nothing there for these people. And this is where enter me, I guess, into the real estate industry. Caused a bit of disruption because I was like, well, I want to fill that gap, because social media enables this to be able to be done, because it offers this wonderful $0 marketing strategy, particularly for those vendors. And then we did an interview with the Real Estate Institute president, Leanne Pilkington. It would have been about a year ago, Mark. And there was all this confusion in the industry saying, well, it can't be off market, even though most of the real estate industry still refers to that gap as an off market. Well, it's not, because it's been publicly advertised on those social media portals, and then it went out to your database, right? But there was still no paid marketing.
So you're saying if agents are using the word off market, they're using it completely correctly?
Correct. Absolutely, 100%. Because it's not off market. It is on a portal. It's just on a different portal. So, look, many agents are, and let's define what those portals look like. All right. A portal is your database, isn't it? That's a portal. You've gone out, you've actually had to physically pick up the phone or send out an email blast, and that is now a form of advertising. Social media is without a doubt a form of advertising. So off market,
so if it's off market, so what is a true off market sale is what?
No form of public advertising. No form of public advertising.
So is a phone call public advertising?
It is, yes, correct. So look, and I actually did the true definition of an off market last week. All right, 81 Edward Street, Narrowena. Now, that was a property. A vendor called and said, have you got anyone that would like to buy the property? I found a match. I had the buyer, and we had sold the property. You didn't see it anywhere. It was not found anywhere.
But you sold the buyer, so that wasn't off market.
That is the truth. Okay, but Mark, hang on. We don't want to get silly about it. You actually do need to be able to pick up the phone and call the buyer. What I mean is agents sit and they actually camp on their database, and they might make 50 buyer calls and let those buyers know about a property. That's no longer off market. You have been advertising the property.
Yeah. I think I've got it. It comes down to the vendor's intention. I think is a big key factor here as well. If the vendor goes to you, I'm only going to say I haven't found the new property they're going to. It's more of if you have the right buyer for this property, I would sell. But if you don't know, there's no harm. I'm not going to auction. I won't be going to market. I think the vendor's intention is an easy way to define which is what. So in that scenario, Edward Street, it's like, well, you've just sold one up the road. If one of the buyers there would buy mine, great. If not, I won't be speaking to you again. Compared to, let's go to I'm going to auction in 8 weeks, but I'll give a 2-week period that you can put it out to your database clients, maybe put it on your social media. Then that's more of what you're leading to of a pre-market. It all comes down to the intention rather than, well, you did a letter, you wrote a letter, that's probably the key factor.
Look, spot on, Bird. You're quite right. But there was that gap there where there was that confusion. I was like, well, hang on a second, because it's not off market, but it's also not on those paid real estate portals. What do we call this? So I then came up with a name with Leanne Pilkington, right, the president of the Real Estate Institute, and we agreed that a great name for this would be pre-market.
I was there as well, Lisa, just for the record.
You were there.
Yeah.
Mark drove Lisa to the meeting.
We would never leave you out. We would never leave you out. Now, so guys, the gap in between the pre-market is where we're always launching out to market. We've now gone on to the likes of social media. We've got a signboard out the front of the property, right? And we've now gone out to our database, but we haven't actually taken any paid marketing monies yet and gone on to those real estate portals. So that gap was what I saw that was missing in the industry, and that's what we've now defined as pre-market. All right, so let's just go through it from the top again for those of you guys that have just tuned in. We're talking about the off-market, on-market, and the gap in the middle now, which we have called pre-market. Off-market, no public advertising at all, not database, not signboard, and not sitting there, not going out to social media.
And no intention to launch, and the big thing there, no intention to launch to a bigger campaign if the right buyer hasn't bought it.
Correct. Yeah. And I love the definition that you just gave a moment ago, Burge, just saying, we've sold up the road, the vendor calls and says, look, Michael, have you got, a buyer left over from that campaign? If you do, you can just bring that buyer through the property. That's it. I'm definitely not selling, and I don't want it on social media. I don't want a signboard. I don't want to pay for any marketing money.
Yeah. I think you could call off market when you approach a vendor with a buyer's surname.
Yeah,
I think that is a true off market sale. Knock knock knock. I've got Mr. Wong from China. He wants to buy your property. That's an off market. I think when agents are promoting that almost like a theming and off market as an advantage, I think it's completely wrong. But I think pre-market's definitely that well worded. And something to complicate things a little bit more is what buyers and sellers and agents don't know these days is there's a new type of database. And the old type of database is called a static database. The new type of a static database is what's your buyer's name, email address, and mobile number, and then all the details that surround that, what they want to buy, a townhouse, house price. That's a static database. But powerful people in real estate today that like our agents, all of our agents in our office, led by Lisa and her social media weaponry, have a thing called a virtual database. Now, what a virtual database is, Lisa doesn't even know who's going to buy that property. She doesn't know the person's name, the person's number or email address, but they follow her. They may not follow her by being an official follower, but they'll follow all of her content that comes on. She'll sell something to them. A virtual database these days is now becoming more rapid, more powerful, and more wrapped around buyers' needs than a static database.
Just like what you're saying there, Mark, people may not know this, in Marketplace, people can follow you. So if I go to my Marketplace Facebook and you go Marketplace followers, so there's hundreds of people, there's people in there. So that's the key thing of your virtual database. In action there but then there's also people who follow you by liking your page. They may not like the content, but they're stalking you that way.
And people actually use you, Lisa, because of your virtual database. They don't know how to put it into words. They don't know why they like you. They don't know why they want to use you, but they know that you're going to. There's going to be power in using you in social media and selling because of your virtual database.
Yeah, look, the reality is I came along and filled a gap in the industry, right, that was clearly needed because there was a lot of frustration there. There were vendors there that were saying, hang on a second, I don't want the big auction ticker tape parade. I don't want that, okay? They didn't, and some vendors are not driven by price. It's really important to listen to what the needs of our consumers are. And I think as an industry, that was not being done. The agents were just saying, well, hang on a sec, we always have done it this way. We've always done a 3 to 4 a week auction campaign and taken vendor paid advertising money. And that may be the way that it's been done for the last 50, 60, 100 years, all right? But times have changed and the industry didn't. And I came along and said, well, hang on a sec, there's this weapon and it's called social media and no one's using it. It's extremely underutilized in our industry. All right. So I came along and started to do video content and put it out to the people, and the people voted. And they said, as buyers and sellers, we like this. Not everyone likes it. OK, but it doesn't matter. There was a gap there that needed to be filled. All right. So sorry, Mark, can I just add to that? As agents, it is important that we are listening to what the needs of the consumers are. Now, I don't just sell property on social media, all right? I've done 2 or 3 auctions over the last couple of weeks. If that is where I feel that property is best placed, i.e. a deceased estate,
good point.
We've got multiple offers coming in, of course, as an agent, it's my job to make sure I am offering the best strategy to my vendors, all right? That's where the confusion is. Yes, I do tons on social media, but if I feel that a better price can be achieved by then taking that property and launching it onto the real estate portals, or taking that property and taking it out to auction, of course, that is what I will offer. How else am I getting these phenomenal prices for my vendors? All right.
Yeah.
So it's important that as an industry, we
What-
listen to what it is that our consumers want.
What
All
were you
right.
going to
And
say,
I
Mark?
think I think it's really important for people to acknowledge that people have now built their own media channels. So people, and what I'm not talking about broadcasters, I'm talking about consumers of content. Everyone who's watching today has their own media channel built around their needs, their joy, love, their passion, and their whatever. So there's now, if there's 28 million social media users, there's 28 million social media channels. Part of what we're doing on social media is allowing that content to be available for all those consumers. If those consumers vote that they want real estate media on the Northern Beaches, they will somehow find their way to us through Facebook's amazing, way that they do stuff. So I think it's really, really important these days that pre-market selling. I think it's definitely got to be identified that you need an agent that can advertise on realestate.com. They can all do that. You need an agent that can take pretty photos. Well, they all do that. You need an agent that has a static database. Well, your local agent's going to have that. But you now need an agent with a virtual database, which is exactly what we're talking about, that you have, that Mike will have, that I have. And that, in combination, all of those things will work to get a greater price. And like you said, it may be via auction, but you're going to use all of those methods. So pre-market has been the integral way of pre-market's been the integral way of trying to explain that to the market, but it's much bigger than that.
And just to go off what pre-market, just to explain it for people, is by doing pre-market, we've gained an extra week or 2 weeks that were never utilised previously. And where
I love that point, Serge.
Because when you've signed up from say an agency agreement, by the time you've booked the photos, got the floor plan, done your videography, you've done everything that's been ready.
What a great
probably
point.
launch a week, even 2 weeks. But where pre-market is utilised, which comes to the intention of the vendor and the intention of the campaign.
It was wasted before.
Off-market and pre-market is now that as soon as the agency agreement, Facebook allows you to shoot up a raw video walking through it, put it on Facebook Marketplace. It doesn't have the professional photography, and you can gain.
Burgess nailed it.
Yeah, so let me get through it. And then you can gain, which quite often the buyer has been found during that period at a great price. And then the vendor has the option. Yeah, and the vendor has the option to go, well, that's great. I'm happy to do the deal now. That saves me 4 weeks of open homes. Or they say, phenomenal.
Can we just had an epiphany right here. Burge, you have absolutely, without a doubt, defined that was missing airspace in the real estate industry before. And can we just reiterate on that? Because perfection is
Say it again, Burge. Say it again.
It'd be good to finish it, but anyway.
Did you think you were going to get to talk with me on the show? Yeah. Did you really think you were going to? But that was missing airspace. Yeah, it really was. So, can we just give an example? I've launched a garden apartment in Narrabeen. Now, she's getting carpet paint done there. So, of course, professional photos and professional video, we're not ready for that yet, but it's been out onto my social media now for a week, because real content and social media love one another. So it was, wonderful to be able to get that out instantly to my tribe, to the people. Now, I've already had 2 offers come in pre-market. We're very close to doing a deal there. All right. But we have the option to say, hang on a sec, carpet and paint will be in a few days' time. We'll get those professional photos done as an agent. Do I feel that there's more money out there if we launch out to realestate.com and Domain? Now, every vendor has a magic price. Every vendor has a magic price, trust me. And we are very close to this vendor's magic price. In fact, she's just saying, I just can't believe that we've gotten this money pre-market. I actually want to get out of here and get down to Canada. This all works beautifully for me. right? So again, it's important as an industry that we are listening to what the needs of our consumers are. All right, some vendors are price driven, some are time driven, and some are both. I feel like the industry did not cater to this before, but you've just made such a valid point, Birch, that airspace, that time was wasted before while we were waiting to get those professional photos, etc. back. Social media allows us to do things instantly. Yep, it's that, and it's wonderful. So can we just recap, guys? This morning, what we've been talking about the off market means no public advertising, not a signboard, not calling your database, not email blasting.
No intention to go to market.
Correct. On market is for all the bells and whistles. It means that you're on the market, you've taken paid advertising, all right, and you've gone out to the paid real estate portals, realestate.com and Domain. What we did is we filled the gap in the middle, and we called it pre-market, where you've gone out to social media, you've put a signboard out the front of the property, you've called your database, and you've done your email database as well. Right, and you have the potential to sell the property for a phenomenal price, obviously, before you launch out to those real estate portals. All right, so
Beautiful.
hopefully that's cleared things up a little bit this morning. That must be a wrap, guys.
That's a wrap. Thanks for coming on, Lisa. I hope that helped everyone there. Thank you very much.
That's great.
Yeah, that was awesome.